We're now, in fact, trespassing. Hope nobody tells anybody. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to AmmoMart. A couple of weeks ago, we filmed a video talking about warning shots and why they weren't a good idea. Covering that topic, I introduced you to a court case from Ohio about a property dispute between landowners and a young hunter. Today, as you can tell behind me, we're at the range at Ghost Town, and this is the land directly behind the backstop. If I go that way a few more yards, we're going to be actually onto another person's property, but there's no real markers to let you know that that's the case. In fact, that property is owned by the Black Swamp Area Council, which is the Boy Scout Council here in Findlay, Ohio. What I'm going to do is cover an app you can install on your phone called HuntStand Pro. They have a different level, a higher level than the one we're going to demonstrate today, called HuntStand Pro Whitetail. We'll be using the HuntStand Pro. It's an interesting app. They've been around since 2012, and it was started by a guy named Lanford Holloway, who was a hunter. The company advertises that they're private hunters, and they're actually trying to help other private hunters. The app has some interesting features in that you can create your own hunt area, add roads, add landmarks, all of those types of things. Or you can actually hit a pin, say, "Where am I?" and it'll tell you how close you are to the next property and who owns it. I don't have time to cover all of the details and the things that the app will do, but if you're interested in it, we find that this is actually a pretty good choice for private hunters. It does come with a subscription fee of $29.99 per year, which I think avid hunters would find to be pretty affordable. So let's try to put it through some of its paces and cover, thanks to the modern technology and a cell phone, where you're allowed to be with the HuntStand Pro. So we're going to open the HuntStand app. One of the things we need to discuss before going any further is I'm not sponsored by HuntStand Pro. A buddy of mine kind of put me onto it because he uses it. I got really interested in it, so we're in no way affiliated or sponsored with HuntStand Pro. Up it comes. We're going to select Property Info. You can see, if you're looking at the screen, a little blue dot, we're extremely close to a property line. The next property is owned by the Black Swamp Area Council, as we discussed. As I continue to move off through the woods, you're going to see I'll eventually cross the property line. And you can see, if I tap the magic property line, it does in fact come up Black Swamp Area Council, Inc. I'll try to move that out of our way here. Continue on. We're now, in fact, trespassing. Hope nobody tells anybody. But vital to successful hunting is having some understanding of the wind. So you'll notice towards the bottom on the right-hand side, if I tap the little green circle right there, it'll give you a 72-hour wind speed prediction. Aha. So by zooming in and tapping on the blue dot, it gives you wind information. The wind's coming out of the northwest, about 8 miles an hour or so. And this is vitally important so that you know where to stand or not stand based on the wind pattern for the day. If you notice, right up next to the green square is a picture of a bird, a little bird icon. For you waterfowl folks out there, also gives you the direction of the wind, and of course in red you'll see that the birds land into the wind. So for waterfowl hunters, you can have some idea about where you need to position yourself to hunt successfully. Now if we get back out of all of this simply by tapping the arrow, we're kind of back to where we were. If we continue to walk along, we'll try to use some of the other features here, which is if I hit the plus symbol, it brings up the idea that you can, if I hit the marker, you can set a marker anywhere on the screen. And along with that, you can also set roads, you can set structures, bedding, you can mark hoof trails, any sort of information like that hunters would find incredibly useful, especially if you don't get out to the area much. Perhaps you're doing your off-season scouting, strolling through the woods. You can keep dropping these little markers and kind of sort of illustrate when you come back later on where your best chances are to be successful. I thought that was a really, really cool feature. So also related to the weather, you notice in the bottom right-hand portion of the screen, if I touch the sun, you'll actually get a detailed forecast that pops up. And if you tap that, it'll give you a detailed forecast. Really cool feature. So I'm going to try to get out of that, show you something else I thought was really interesting. You'll notice below the sun is, of course, a moon icon. And if I tap that, it brings up basically a lunar chart or peak activities of game. Of course, that's a prediction. I know a lot of people don't put a lot of stock in that, but a lot of people do. Animals do tend to move based on the lunar position somewhat. So if you need to know that information, it's right at your fingertips. So I'm by no means an expert with the HuntStand Pro. I just got it on my phone, but I'm really excited about how easy it is to use. And as I mentioned, there are some YouTube tutorials you can sort of follow along with. I've barely scratched the surface on what the app will actually do for hunters, but I'm hoping to use the app right here in this very area come fall and maybe catch on camera after we're done hunting how successful or easy it was and some of the other features that I've discovered along the way. If you're on the fence about getting one of these apps, if you're a private hunter, or maybe you just like to be nosy and figure out who owns what property around your way, HuntStand Pro is a good way to do it. $29.99 a year, pretty affordable and very easy to use. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.